Hello and welcome to this new Android development course. This is part 1 of how to make a drawing app for Android. So in this video we will set up the basics and continue with our application. So we open our Android Studio IDE and click on Start a new Android Studio project. Here we click on Empty Activity and then we click on Next. Here in my application we will change the name to drawing app, for example. Okay, we will set the language to Java and we will set the minimum API level to 17 this time. Okay, now we will click on finish and we will wait for the IDE to load our application. So we have set this time 17 because 17 almost targets the whole Android marketer. Okay, so right now we have our Android Studio project set up right here, and we have to continue to create our drawing application. To do this, we will go to our okay, let me hide this right here. We will open our manifest file and we will set the activity orientation to portrait. Okay, so we have set to portrait because our drawing app will be in portrait mode. Okay, so now that we have done this, we will run. Now actually, before running, we will change the default layout file with the linear layout. So we go under the rest folder and then under the layout folder, and we right click on the activity main.xml file and we will click on delete. We can make sure you have these two options unchecked and then click on OK. Now that we have deleted, we will create a new one. So go right click, new, right click on the layout folder. So right click, new, layout resource file. And here we will also set the name to activity main, as you can see. But the root element will be changed through linear layout, as you can see. Now we click on OK, and the IDE will generate this new code for us. If we switch to the text mode, we can see that we have the linear layout we requested. If we run this, I will run this on the emulator. So if we run this app right now, we will see how it's looking like on the device. So now I'm compiling and I will run the app on the emulator in the left side of the screen so you can see. Okay, so we wait for the app to be compiled and I will switch to the emulator to wait for the app to run. So right here will be the emulator, which was set up using Android Studio, and it's taking quite some time. Maybe the first time takes a little bit more time than usual, but it's already installing and launching the app. And here is our drawing application. So right now we have this top bar which shows the time and all the notification icons, and we have also this title bar which is showing the title of our app, in this case drawing app. We want to hide these two bars. To hide those bars, we go back to the IDE, and on the left under the rest and then values folder, we will open the styles.xml file. And as you can see, here we can change the items of our current app theme. So to hide those bars, we will create a new item, the first being window no title, which is the title bar, and we'll set this to true, so we don't want a title. And we will also create a new item that will say full screen, let me see, window full screen, as you can see, and we will also set this to true. After we've done this, we will run the app again to check if the changes took effect on the emulator device. So right now it's installing, and as you can see, there's nothing shown. So both bars are hidden, and all we have is a white rectangle, which is exactly what we want for now. Okay, basically to draw on the application, what we have to do is to create a kind of paint view, which will use the canvas object to, to draw into the display. To do that, we will create an external class, okay? So our external class will be called PaintView actually. So to create external class, we go and right click under the Java folder and we will click on the package name. So in my case is com.example.drawingApp. I will right click on that and click on a new Java class. And the name of this class, I will set that to paint view dot just paint view, paint view, and then I click on OK. So now the IDE has created this new class for us. Okay, so it says public class paint view, and we will continue to improve and modify this class to our drawing app needs. So the first thing we want to do is to extend the view class. To extend the view class is pretty simple. We will just type right here extend view. Okay. As you can see, of course, we have to import the view object, as you can see right here. And now we extended the view. As you can see, we have a warning right here, which tells us there's no default constructor available. So if we click here, which will create the constructor matching super, we can do that, or we can also do it later manually. But if we go and do this and choose the first, for example, we have this constructor just to silence this warning. Okay, doesn't really matter because we will write it anyway later. Okay, great. So this is the main method, right? But we will also kind of pass the attributes set, if I'm not wrong. Let me see. So after we do this, we will create a global variable of paint, in which we will call, will be called paint. For that, we go and say private paint, and we will call. We have to import this. This class will enable us to draw. Okay, so private paint paint. Okay, so we created the paint object. Right here, we will start setting up that object. So we're gonna say paint equals to new paint. Okay, and then we will start passing the parameters we want. For example, we can set different styles, strokes, lots of really useful stuff. So since we want to draw something, we will do the following. So we'll say paint dot set anti-alias. We will set this to true to enable anti-aliasing. Okay, great. And we will also set dither to true. To do that, we're going to say paint dot set dither to true. So these are basically small settings that we have to set in order for the app make it able to draw, which are not really important to go in deep of every one of these. So we will continue right now. So paint dot set color, and we will set these to a color, for example black maybe. So this is the kind of the color we are drawing with. So we're going to say color dot black. So we want to set that as default. So okay, as simple as that. So we set the color right now. Next we're going to set the style of paint. So we're going to say paint, oops, and paint that set style, and as a style we will pass paint that style, that stroke, because we will be drawing, right? Okay, great. And now we will kind of set kind of the strong stroke style, maybe. So and paint that set stroke join, and here what we will do will be paint that join that round, because we want kind of rounded endings on our as we draw. Okay, and we'll also set the stroke cap, which is again just aesthetic changes that are not that important. So set stroke, let me see, stroke cap, paint that cap, that, let's uppercase cap, paint that cap, that round again. Okay, so we've done this, and now we're gonna say the mode, kind of expert mode, which won't use that much, so we can set it to null. So let me see, and paint that set x for mode, kind of transfer mode, will be set to null right now. Okay, and the last one will be set to alpha, and paint that set alpha, we'll set that to 0xff to make it able to see what we're doing. Okay, so that's it for the constructor method, right? So that's the kind of main method, but we want also to create an initialization method in which we will pass the size of the user of the device screen, you know? So we have to know which size we will be drawing into, okay? So you're gonna say public void. Of course, we will have to call this from our main activity class. Init, we will call init, and we will pass the display metrics we get, which are the screen size, okay? Display metrics, and we will pass the stuff right here. So right now we have our kind of a paint view. We'll still have to implement some more stuff, but it's extending the view. In order for us to complete this design, we will go to our activity main.xml file right here, and we will actually get the view from code. So the view we created and displayed right here, specified as XML. So how can we do this? Well, we will basically set these as inside the frame layout in order for us to later be flexible for us to change some stuff. So to create a frame layout, we will set the width to match parent, the height to 0 dp. Okay, the weight will be set. We want to create two views with two different weights in order for us to simplify our life. So we want, in this case, to make the paint view show the 90% of the screen, and at the bottom we will have a bar which will use the 10%. Maybe we can change this later, not that important. So we're going to set this weight to 9. That will represent the 90% for us. Okay, and inside this frame layout we will actually specify our paint view, which is called, we access it as com example drawing up that paint view. Okay, so the width of this paint view will be match parent, and the height will also be match parent. In order for us to access this from code, we have to assign it an ID. So you can say ID, and the ID will set to this will be paint view. Okay, great. So now we have created our paint view right here, and we also will create the bottom bar I was just talking about. So the bottom bar will be a linear layout, the width will be match parent, the height will be 0 dp, and the weight will be 1. So this is weight 1 and the other was weight 9. So this occupies 10% and the other 90%. Just a simple trick to avoid doing lots of code and all of that. We solve everything here. Okay, great. So now we can create some buttons right here, maybe something that will enable us to change the colors are of what we're drawing with, or something like that, maybe to clear the current drawing, but we will do that later. Okay, we'll just leave it as it is, and I will actually set this background to black. So we'll create a black color. For that we go under colors.xml file, and down here we'll create a new black color. For that I open and say color, name will be black. Okay, and here I will specify number sign followed by 6 zeros, which is black in hexadecimal. Okay, now I have the black color. If I go, I can now close this file, and I can go to activity main.xml, and as background of this linear layout I will set this to black. Okay, so that's our linear layout, and if I run the app now, I can have an idea of what I just did right here. I mean the 90-10%. So the app is running. Oh, let me run it again. It didn't run for some reason. So the app is running, and we have a sort of error, maybe because we have not finished coding. Maybe we have some sort of error right here. So let's check in Logcat to see what's going wrong with our application. Let me see. So whenever something goes wrong, we can go to Logcat, as I'm doing, and finding the actual line of code that's causing problems. So right here we have that we have some error on our binary XML file. Okay. Okay. That's great, because we haven't finished writing this class, and we are already using it right here. So if we select this and comment this, or delete for a moment, and run the app again, we will see that it is solved. So I'm installing the app, and as you can see, it's solved. And as I was telling you, this white thing, which will be our PaintView, will occupy 90% of the whole screen height, and the rest 10% remaining will be occupied by our bottom bar. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you as a quick thing right here. And now we can uncomment this again. Okay, but we have to keep in mind that before running the app, we have to actually end writing this class. Okay, to write this class, we will continue to the init method, and we will get the height and the width of the metrics we are passing right here. To do that, we're gonna say int height will be set to metrics that height pixels, yes, but this will return the whole height of the device, which we don't really want. We want the 90% of the whole height of the device. So we'll multiply these with 0.9. In that way we get the 90%, and we will cast these to double. So as you can see, it says me to cast it to double, so we cast to int, actually, from double to int. So if we cast it to int, then everything works great. Now we also want to get the width. Okay, the width doesn't change, so we're gonna say int width. We'll say metrics that with pixels, as you can see right here. So now we have our height and our width, which is great, right? And we want to create our bitmap. So a bitmap will enable us to store the information of our canvas, or where we draw our stuff, right? So we will create our bitmap, and we will access it and initialize it. Okay, So I'm gonna say bitmap. I will call it m bitmap, for example, and I will set this object to bitmap that create bitmap, and we will pass the parameters as first we'll pass width, then we'll pass height, then we will pass the configuration of our bitmap. So we want it to be able to display colors. For that, the most useful configuration is bitmap that config that RGB 8888. Okay, so right now we have set up our bitmap, and we also want to set up our canvas. So we're gonna say canvas. Okay, canvas, I will call this m canvas, and I will set this to new canvas, and I will create a new canvas with the bitmap I set up previously. So I will pass m bitmap, which is great. So now we have created our canvas with our bitmap. Okay, great. So this is basically what we have to initialize in this method. Okay, so we also will have to deal with colors and all those sort of things, but for now we will leave it there, and we will create another method, which will be the onDraw method. Okay, to do that we will override the onDraw method. So override protected void onDraw. Let me see if I'm right. Yeah, onDraw, and we will get the canvas right here. So canvas. Okay, and right here we will kind of save the canvas in order for us to draw a new color or something like that. Okay, so you're gonna go and say canvas that save. So this enables us to save the state of the canvas. Then what we will do will be we have to access our previously created canvas, which is this canvas right here. So you have to create this as a global variable. Okay, so you go before the PaintView method and type private canvas m canvas. Now that object can be accessed from the onDraw method. So you're going to say m canvas that set not actually draw color. We want to set kind of the background color. Draw color, and this background color will set it to color that white. Okay, so the background of our drawing application will be white. Great. Now we will define how our finger moves through the screen in order for us to draw on the canvas. Okay, so we will have to define that. To define that, we will go to our mainActivity.java file. Okay, so we go to our mainActivity.java, and we will define something that we will call our finger path. Okay, so we're gonna go after the onCreate method. We're gonna create a static class. For that, we're gonna say static class finger path. Okay, we open the element right here, and we will define this class. We have its own color, the stroke width, and the path itself. Okay, so first we go and say int color. We'll have int stroke width. Okay, and path. So here we, as path, we will import the graphics one. So as you can see right here, I'm importing the graphics path. Okay, okay, what I just did. Okay, everything's great. Now path, and as path we'll call it just path. Okay, so now we will create a constructor method which will be finger path. So finger path right here, and we will pass this a color, of course. In order to set the color, we'll pass, of course, the stroke width, and we'll also pass the path. Okay, and inside this we will just set them. So we can say this that color equals color. The same with the other one. So this that stroke width equals stroke width. So we're setting new parameters to our finger path. What we do, what we touch with our fingers. Okay. And now this that path will be set to path. And now we have created our finger path, which is awesome. So right now we can go back to our PaintView, that Java, and now we can finish with our onDraw method. So right here what we will do is we will get the finger paths we have on our activity main or main activity, and we will set the color and the stroke and all of that, right? Okay, so we're gonna say for, so this is for each loop. For main activity, let me see, for main activity that finger path, we'll call this FP, for example, and we will switch it with paths. Okay, so what are those paths right here? So those paths will store the actual paths, okay, of our application. So how can we find or actually define those paths? Well, these paths will be created as an array list of finger paths. So we go and create it as a global variable. So go ahead and say private array list, as you can see, and the data type of this array list will be main activity that finger path. Okay, and we'll call these paths, and we'll set this to new array list. Okay, so now we have our paths global variable right here. So what do we have to do now is continue writing the for loop. We open this loop and we're gonna say mPaint that set color, and will be set to the path color, in this case fp dot color. Okay, now we'll set the stroke width, so we're gonna go mPaint that set stroke width, and will be set to fp dot stroke width. Okay, we also will set the mask filter to null in order for us to make the draw look kind of what we want, and we'll set mPaint that set mask filter to null. Okay, and we will actually draw the path right now. To draw the path, we're going to say mCanvas that draw path, and we'll pass, of course, fp.path, and we will also pass the mPaint, and this is how we do this for every loop right here. But now we have to actually display these changes to the screen. To do that, we're gonna say outside the for loop, of course, canvas that draw bitmap, and inside this we'll say mbitmap, which is not accessible again, so we have to make mbitmap accessible. For that, we go to our init method and make mbitmap a global variable, the same we did with mcanvas. So we can go here and go private bitmap mbitmap. Now that can be accessed from the onDraw method. And draw path, we will pass mbitmap right here, and we'll also pass the kind of where we want it to start from. In this case will be 0, 0. So we want to start from scratch. And now we're gonna say, and we have to pass the paint of this. To pass the paint of this, we will kind of create a new paint for this that we will be called mbitmap paint, and we will create that as a global variable, so we can create it right here. We go ahead and say private paint mbitmap paint, and we'll create it as new paint, and we'll pass the parameter paint that dither flag, so we can have it ready. Okay, now we will use it as our last parameter right here. So we'll pass mbitmap paint, and with this method, with this line of code, we're drawing the bitmap, and after we draw, we will restore the canvas. So you can say canvas.restore. Okay, so now we have restored the canvas, and now we have finished creating our onDraw method. This is for this video. I hope you enjoy it, and I see you in the next video, in which we will continue working on the app. I see you later, and thanks for watching. Bye.